right? So we are going to install the msbi software, right? So you just click on the setup file, setup, not setup exe, setup. Yes, right. It will open a window. So it is going to process the SQL Server 2012 version we are going to install here. So the prerequisites for this one is the Windows operating system. It will work on only Windows operating system. So click on the installation. So we are going to install the new installation. So that is the reason you have to select the first one, new SQL Server start standalone installation. Right. Click OK. It will check just some rules and regulations to install the software. Right, so if it is a licensed version, you have to keep the licensed version. So yes, it's a licensed version. Just you have to provide the product key. So we have the product key. Just click on the next. So you have to accept the license terms. So it is everywhere similar, right? No, 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 don't select that one. You just go to next. Right, don't include the updates. Deselect. Can you please deselect? Because if you are including these updates, it will take too much time to update your software. Because so if there is, after you are downloading, after you are getting the software, if there is any updates is happening for the software, so it is going to extract the updates. If you want to extract the updates from online, yes you can. I don't want to extract any updates. You just click next.
If we install the updates, then it will include all other files too, right?
Other files in the sense, is there any updates is happening after you are downloading the software, right? So that kind of updates it will update.
I mean, if I get any updates after, I mean, after a few more days, then it will be updating.
Yes, it will get some updates, no problem. But basically, updates in the sense, see, if there is any bugs, they will fix by giving some service packs like that. Okay, but in 2002 here, we are not getting much updates. You don't worry.
Yeah, okay.
Right. See here, there is one warning is coming. So what is this warning? Windows Firewall. So Windows Firewall is not allowing this SQL Server port number. So what we have to do, we have to create a new rule in the firewall, okay, to accept this SQL Server connection. So how can we do it? Right, so we can do it after also. First we will process this one. You just click next. So here SQL Server feature installation, the first option is the default option. It will create or it will install all the objects like database engine, SQL Server, analysis services, reporting services, integration services. Okay. So if you want to include Power Pivot, SharePoint also, yes, you can select the second option. Okay. And if you want to install whatever the services you want to install in the first one with default accounts, so you can select third one. So I want to select the first one only, so you can select the first one. So here what are the components you want to install? So here if you observe, analysis services is there, reporting services is there, and integration services is there. I want to select all those things. I want to install all the components of related to SQL Server. Select all. So below is the path is going to save your installation in your C folder, program files, Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, just click next. There are certain rules and regulations are there. It is going to check the rules, whether the rules it is satisfying or not. If you want to see, just click on the show result, show details. Done, passed. Then okay, fine. Just click next. If it is failed, it will display a fail. So already we have discussed about the instances, right? Default instance, named instance. We have only one default instance. If it is the first time you are going to install the software, that is default instance. So the default instance automatically it is taking MS SQL Server, right? If you want to give your own instance name, you just select the named instance and you can type the name. But this is the first time, so I want to use the MS SQL Server is the default instance name. We can install the software 32 times. Each time whenever you are going to install, you have to give the different instance name. Only one time you can use MS SQL Server. The second time if you are going to install, you have to give a named instance and the name you have to provide. Okay, right, just click next. So it is going to check disk space requirements. To install the software, it need almost how much it requires? 7820 MB required. So how much is available? 74150 MB available. Lot of space is available in C drive. Okay, in C drive 3884 MB required. Okay, right. So you just click next because we have enough memory. Otherwise it don't install. So here all the services you are going to run under which account, so you have to specify that particular accounts. So you just go to account name, under account name select the first one, yeah, click on the yes, go to browser, just type here network, check names, there is an option here, select network service, click OK, click OK. So copy the same thing into all. Right, up to here is enough, because the remaining services we are not going to use much, right? So these are the main services. Okay, if you observe here, the startup type is manual automatic. What is the difference between manual and automatic? Manual means whenever you want the services, so you have to start manually. Automatic means once you are logged to your computer, automatically those services will start automatically. Okay, just click next. See here, I told you, right? So there are two kind of authentication modes. If you are selecting Windows authentication mode only, you can log into your SQL Server only through Windows login. So I want two authentications like SQL as well as Windows. You just select mixed mode and you have to enter a password. So this password you have to remember when you are going to connect to the SQL Server. You just give any password like scap SQL at the rate of 123 like that. Okay, same thing you have to confirm before. So what is the username, default username? So you can read over there the below statement. Specify the password for the SQL Server System Administrator SA account. So SA is the username. Okay, right. So this password and username you have to remember. So specify SQL Server Administrator. Who is the administrator? So whoever the user currently installing the software, I want to add that person as a administrator. Add current user. Click next. So Saiki is the administrator. Click next. Here in SSAS Analysis Services, in earlier 2008 R2 and we have only multi-dimensional modeling. But in 2012 they are giving tabular mode also. So in which mode you want to install this SQL Server? So mostly right now the people are using multi-dimension only. So you can use any of one only at the time of installation. Okay, so I want to select multi-dimension only, and so these integration services I want to run under current user only. So you just click add current user, click next. Right, so it is going to install and configure the reporting services in native mode, right? So just click next. Keep as it is defaults. Click.
SharePoint.
No, you just keep it as it is. Click next. Again add current user. So give any of the one controller name to control all these directory locations. Give any name. You can give your name also. Click next. Yes, click next. Reporting services catalog database file existency. Reporting services catalog temporary database file existency. There are two failures. Just click on the failed option. It will display the error. The reporting services catalog database file exists. Select a reporting services file only. Services files only. Okay, go back. Click OK, go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Yeah. Click next. Install only. Can you select install only? Click next. Yes, click next. 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 Right. Click next. Install. So now it will start the installation. Before you are going to start the installation, you can see all the things what it is going to install. Okay, right. So basically why we are getting this error, we are going to install and configure option, but there is no catalog database to configure. So that is the reason first we are installing, then we can configure the things. Okay, right. So it will take 10 to 15 minutes. So meanwhile, we have to fix the firewall issue. Otherwise, you can't connect to the SQL Server. It will throw an error like an instance network related error information. Okay, so what you have to do, so go to start, type it firewall.cpl, F-I-R-E .cpl, yes. Go to advanced settings, advanced settings. Go to inbound rules in the top, yeah. Create a new rule. Select port. I want to allow the port 1433 is the port for SQL Server. So click next. Give the 1433. By default the port number is 1433. Yes. Click next. No, TCP only. You just select next. So yes, allow the connection as it is. Click next. Right, click next. So you just specify a name over here. Just add like add SQL, right? Yeah, you can give any name, no problem. Finish it, right? So now it will allow to connect to the firewall. Okay, so whatever the warning message we got, right? So that issue we are resolving over here. Okay, right. So the installation is completed successfully. So you have to close this one. Okay, so after closing this one, you just restart your computer, so that's better. Okay, so you can restart the computer after also. First we'll check whether this all the components, all the tools are installed properly or not. You just go to start and just type it SQL Server data tools. Yeah, just click on the folder. The primary things are SQL Server Management Studio and yeah, Management Studio is there, and SQL Server data tools. Did you find? Yes, both are there. Just open SQL Server Management Studio first. Right, so here, so we are going to connect to the database engine, right? So what is your server name? The server name is nothing but your computer name. You just go to your computer properties, go to start and click on the computer properties. No, just go to start and type it the computer. Go to start, type the computer. uh, no, not this one. Computer and space properties. No, not this one. Okay, no problem. You just close this one. So what is your computer name? We can find out. I think this PC. Okay, right click, properties. You can see what is your computer name, SK, right? So because you have installed the software in your local computer, so the default server name is nothing but your computer name only. So you just go and give the name SK as the server name. Okay. So what is the instance name? So whenever you are connecting to the SQL Server, open the SQL Server Management Studio. So here the server name slash the instance name you have to provide. So right now the default instance whatever we have installed is MS SQL Server. So you don't need to provide. If you are installing the software with any other named instance, you have to provide the forward slash, okay, and whatever the instance name. So then only you can connect to that instance. And come to authentication modes. So there are two kind of authentication modes. One is Windows authentication mode. For Windows authentication mode, you don't need to give any information. Automatically, whatever the user already have added as a administrator at the time of installation, it will take that username. So under SQL Server authentication, if you want to connect, so what is the username? SCA. And the password you have given at the time of installation, right? So the same password you have to type over here. Connect it. So you are able to connect to the SQL Server. So how to create a new database? Just right click on the databases. Databases. Right click on the databases, new database. Give any name for the database. So if you observe here, whenever you are creating any databases, there are two files are coming in the below under database files. One is .mdf file, that is the primary file. So in this file, mostly the data is whatever the data you are going to insert and save inside the tables, that data will be there. The second one is the log file. It will save some log information. It's not an important information. So the primary file, the .mdf file, is the main thing. Okay, right. So in which location these .mdf file, .ldf file are going to store? So you just scroll it, scroll this one, yeah, scroll it, yeah. In this location, it is going to save the .mdf file and .ldf file. If you are deleting the .mdf, .ldf file, so you can't. Your data is deleted. So click OK. Click OK. It is throwing error, so the database.mdf file already is there in that particular folder. So can you please give any other name? So you have already created msbi training.mdf file, so you just give a different name. So that is the reason it is not aligning with the same name. I think we have created the msbi space training database name. So now click OK. So you just go to databases. Here under system databases, you can find four databases, right? Under system databases, yeah. One is master, model, msdb, tempdb. We know very well about these four databases. Master database store all login related information, and the model database is nothing but whenever you want to create a new database, like for example now we have created the training database, right? So that training database will take just a picture, the same structure from the model. If you observe, the model database and training database both are same as of now. Whenever you are creating new databases, it will take the base structure from the model database only. and MSDB is storing the some jobs, schedules related information. Temp database, it is storing all the temporary objects, it is going to store over here. So if you are coming to under training database, just go, if you observe, we are calling all these are objects. Okay, so this is user defined database. Training database is the user defined. We don't touch master, model, MSDB, tempdb, because those four databases are useful for only system related information. The system, how this database engine is going to work, so it needs some information. So those information is existing in these four databases, as well as one more database is there, that is resource database. You can't see that resource database over here. Okay, right. So always you have to work on your own database only. So how can you work on your own database? So you have to use your database name. So automatically in your drop down it will change the database name if you are executing this command, right? So you just execute this one, so it is changed in your from master database to training database. Okay, so always you have to use your own database only if you want to create any tables or not. So you just check, is there any table inside the training database or not? No tables, all are system tables and something other file tables. So I want to store information inside the table. If you want to store any data inside a table, first what you have to do, you have to create a table, right? You have to create a table. So if you want to create any tables in SQL Server, if you want to write down any SQL command in SQL Server, we have 6 commands in the SQL Server. So what are those commands we have in SQL Server? DML commands and DDL commands. So what are the DML commands? Data manipulation commands. Can you please write down what are the DML commands we have in SQL Server? Data manipulation commands, those are insert. Yes, so just type in the window, insert, update, delete. These 3 commands are the DML commands, data manipulation commands. Okay, so one more command is there, select command. So I'm not sure that is a DML command or not. Okay, but we are considering the select statement also under DML commands. Okay, select command also under DML commands. So if you observe, these 4 commands are purely working on data. Inside a table, whatever the data you have, it will work on the data only. And the DDL commands are data definition. So these commands will define the data, will alter the data, not data. It will alter the structure of the tables, database, all those things. So the first command is create command. If you want to introduce, if you want to create anything in your SQL Server, you have to use create, right? After you are creating, you want to do some alteration. By mistakenly I have created 5 columns in a table. I want to add one more column, or I want to drop one column. So you have to use alter command if you want to alter the structure of whatever you have created. And the next one is drop command. Whatever you have introduced, that you can do by dropping the drop command, right? The next one is truncate command. So by using these 8 commands, if you want to write down any SQL statement, so you have to use these 8 commands only.